How's it going?
It's going. It's um, it's a lot. I feel like maybe I'm too aware or too over-informed about like cosmic energies happening in March. And sometimes I'm like, oh, am I feeling it because I'm aware of it? Or am I, tagging stuff that's going on, blaming that sort of thing? Or but whatever the case.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Could be a combination of both. What have you been feeling if you feel like
Well, yeah, I'll share. It's funny because there's been so many instances over the past few days where I'm like, can I just reach out to Lorraine and like run something by her and like have her help in untangling something for me? But um, and I guess it's kind of a good thing that I don't do that, right? I'm like, all right, we'll sit with it and see what you come up with. And um, so there's been, a number of pretty um, I don't know, pretty significant relationship challenges and, um, you know, doing my best to navigate those, yet at the same time, um, I feel that I I know what the solution is, but I don't like it. So I'm
hearing?
keep poking around trying, no, that can't be it. Something else. Maybe I should do something else. So um yeah, well, that's
So when you say you know what the solution is, but
or I know what a solution is.
you know what a solution is,
Yeah.
got it.
So, I mean, a nice, tidy way of saying it is that, I'm really aware of a pattern or a dynamic. And so I'm working towards breaking the pattern or the dynamic, but the other person is not aware of it. Therefore, so I'm trying to break a dynamic, but keep the players in place. And it's a little tricky, to say the least.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
You're keeping it kind of vague.
Um, Not to jump right into maybe what we'll be doing tonight, but when I was writing today about, um, going through the homework and the reflections, it became clear to me how I fell off the wagon over the weekend, and it sort of killed me to break my streak. But
Ah,
at the same time, what I realized in my reflections was that it was like purposeful self-sabotage, right? So I could then just focus on beating myself up for that and take my mind off of, other stuff that has been, you know, um, challenging lately. So it was like it's more familiar to be in that like shame spiral about, look, you let yourself down sort of thing than really address, kind of some larger relationship issues that
mhm.
keep rearing their ugly head. So,
Yeah. Did you ever address those issues?
there's been, some conversation about it. I don't know that I don't know that either of us walk away feeling particularly satisfied or great about after the conversation. It's just sort of like we run through it and we're like, okay. And then like, okay, let's go do something else because I think um, hmm, it's almost like the writing's on the wall and no one wants to look at it. So,
Mhm. Yeah. Well, the thing about relationships is that like 70% of issues are not going to be resolved.
Mm.
You know, we're each gonna have our own ways of looking at things, our own things that we want. And the best that we can really ask for is to be able to have a conversation about it,
Yeah.
at each other's worlds about it, and be able to let go where we can let go.
Yeah.
No, okay, it's like that serenity prayer in AA, like, is this, the exact words are,
Yes.
um,
God grant me the serenity to,
to know
yes.
the
Yes.
things,
Mhm.
that I can change, the things that I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
uh,
so then, hi Parissa, by the way.
Hi.
Carissa,
How are you guys?
I haven't
hi,
heard.
Vanessa.
Nessa's there. She's just eating.
Oh, is
Camera.
she?
Yeah, she's off camera, but
Text. Let me see. I'm checking to see if there's anything from Tiffany.
Tiffany said that she,
Oh, okay. Yeah, she will not be on the call tonight. Okay, so she'll listen to the replay. Ooh, she had a great reflection where she wasn't coming from true choice. I'll read that later. Catherine will not be here either, but she told me she'll be here on Thursday, and they can watch the replay. All right, so well, let's get centered. Let's connect to ourselves and see what's present and alive here today in this moment. So let's take a breath. Notice what's alive, what's going peep, peep, peep when you tune into your system, your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. We're going to do a guided body scan. And I want you to first start by bringing your attention to the parts of your body that are touching your chair or your bed or the earth, wherever it is you are listening to this, the parts of your body that are touching something. And feel yourself settle in to those parts, growing heavier as you sink in to your chair or the ground or the earth. Imagine that there are roots that move out through your feet, or if your legs are crossed, out through your tailbone. These roots growing deep into the earth, bringing you stability and strength. And start to notice what your breath is doing. Is it shallow or deep? How long or short are your breaths? And where all in your body are you able to feel the sensation of your breath? Be that the feeling of the air moving in and out, or the expansion and the contraction or the releasing of the breath. And bring your attention to the top of your head. And with your focused attention there at the crown of your head, notice what you feel, see, hear, experience. Simply by placing your attention at the top of your head. And as we move through this body scan, notice the sensations that you feel in your body, as well as any thoughts or emotions that arise. You might even notice colors or symbols, shapes, and other images. Or even a thought from your past, from your childhood. All of these are things that you might experience as we do this nest body scan. Now bring your attention to your face and head. And notice, do you feel tightness and contraction? Or is your face soft, relaxed, loose? Do you see, feel, hear, experience anything else as you place your attention here in your face and your head? And now go ahead and allow your jaw to relax, your forehead to soften out, all the muscles in and around your eyes to let go and let loose. Feel all of the muscles in and around your head. Let go and soften. And now bring your attention to your throat and neck. And what comes up as you place your attention here? Notice if you've drifted off into thought, and gently, compassionately come back to my voice and what you're feeling right now in your neck and your throat. What is here now? Is it contracted or loose? Tight or soft? Do you see, hear, or feel anything associated with your throat and neck? And now let your throat and neck soften, let go, release. Maybe moving your head if that feels like it would help to free up your neck and throat. That's right. Now bring your attention to your chest area, the front and the back of your rib cage, along with your shoulders and the space inside of your rib cage. And with your attention here in your chest and upper back region, what do you notice? What do you notice about your breath? Do you feel contracted or loose? Tense or relaxed? Is there an image, color, a symbol? Is there tingling? Or is it calm? Does it feel heavy or light? Expanded or contracted? Are there any other sights, sounds, or experiences associated with this region in this moment? And if your mind has wandered to thought, as the mind naturally does, gently bring your mind back. Feel into your body and allow softening and relaxation to occur. If you need to roll your shoulders, arch your back, stretch, whatever your body feels called to do, so that you create more softening, more presence. That's it. Now bring your attention to your lower torso and lower back. Not the pelvic region, but above the pelvis and below the rib cage. And what do you notice here? How is your breath moving in this area? Does it feel tight and tense or soft and relaxed? Does it feel contracted and limited or open and expansive? Do you see any colors, images, or symbols? What is the sensation like here? Are there any tingles, knots? Or does it feel calm, clear? What other sights, sounds, and experiences do you notice with your attention here? Now take a deep breath, expand through the belly and low back. Let that fall out. When any adjustments that your body wants you to make to feel more ease, more presence, more support and relaxation. Allow yourself to do those. Now feel into your pelvic region, your glutes, your sexual organs, your low belly. Do you feel your breath in this area? Is it tight, contracted, or soft and relaxed? What are the quality of the sensations here in this region? Are there any colors, symbols, images? What's the energy here? And are there any sounds or other experiences associated with this hip pelvis area? If there's any adjustments that want to be made, allow those adjustments. And bring your attention to your legs, both your right and left legs, your thighs, knees, and calves. What do you notice here? Are they contracted or loose? Soft or tense? What do you see or notice? What do you feel? Are there sensations or images or energy? And are there any sounds or other experiences associated? By noticing your legs. Any adjustments you want to make, you can allow those. Bring your attention to your ankles and the bottoms and tops of your feet, your toes. What do you notice here? Do you see or feel energy, vibration, tingle, sensations? Do they feel light or heavy? If you were to experience movement of energy, would it be moving outward through your feet or up through your feet or both? How, if at all, do you experience your breath connected to your feet? Let your awareness slowly rise up from your feet, up through your legs and torso and chest, up to your heart space. And notice your arms, your right and left, upper arms, elbows, and forearms. And down to your wrists and hands. What do you notice? What do you feel? Are they heavy or light? Tense or soft? Do you feel or see any buzzing, tingling, pulsing, light, energy? What else do you notice? What is arising? How are your hands connected, if at all, to the energy of your heart space? How, if at all, might your hands and arms want to move or adjust? Take a deep breath. Let it flow out naturally, gently, easily. There, that's right. And let your awareness move around your body to whatever captures your attention. Perhaps purposefully moving your focus bottom to top or top to bottom, or just letting your focus bounce around. Notice what is most grabbing your attention now. And breathe into that space. Imagine your breath going into that space, expanding into the place that you notice the most. And let it fall out. I'm going to breathe in again. And this time, I want to invite you to let out a sigh. Yeah. And this time, I want you to breathe in again. So you're getting a little bit more air in, and then let that sigh out. So it'll be like this. So let's do that again. You can do it as much as you like. One more time. And notice what's happening now. What's different, if anything? And feel into your toes, feet, fingers, and hands. Feel your breath. Add any kind of movements to bring yourself more into this time, space, reality, this room. Could unmute you all. No, I'm not able to do that. You can do it. You can do it. All right. So I popped some questions into the chat. And those are some sentence stems that you can use as part of your share. Or if you want to share about what this experience was just like, you can do that as well. We're gonna do we're gonna do 2 minutes since we got a smaller group today. We'll do 2 minutes each, so you can use the full 2 minutes, or not. So, who would like to share?
I can go ahead, Lorraine.
All right.
That way I can finish my meal while everyone else is doing their thing. So using your primers, something I learned about my patterns this week was one of the challenges of ADHD for me is not realizing how many times I, purchase something or do something to where over the day, these little tiny bits turn into big bits.
Vanessa.
Yes, dear.
Would you be willing to turn your camera on while we're?
Oh, okay, sure.
Are you able to do that?
Yeah, hang on. Oh,
pause. I'm pausing the timer for you.
Thank you.
So nice to see your face.
Okay. Here I am.
It's
not doing so good, but
definitely don't feel as connected staring at
No, I get that. Okay. So what I noticed was, one of my goals was dietary, and it was real easy to say, oh, I can have this. It's just a little bit. I'm doing good. Just a little bit doing good. So I was realizing that was something that not only just in that space, but in a lot of other spaces, I just kind of keep myself blissfully unaware. And that does compile into bigger situations and bigger issues over time. Because, $5 here, 6 to 10 times a day can turn into a pretty big situation pretty quickly. Another thing that I noticed is I'm not the adult that other adults are. And I'm having to come to terms with that, like wearing cool clothes or things that are really flamboyant or things I'm concerned might look too young for me. And I'm constantly asking my 20-something-year-old kids, does this look ridiculous? Do I look ridiculous in this right now? And they're often like, just no, you're fine. You're quirky. It's fine. So I've been having to come to terms with being okay with being what I think would feel good, or that pleases me or that I find fun and not being too old for it. So that has been something I just, I'm not completely there where I can just like, oh, I'm wearing a tutu to the grocery store today, which sounds awesome actually. But I'm at least aware of the fact that my thoughts and mindset around that, the concerns I have are not real. It's just something I've made up because, moms are moms. We're not me, I'm very different and I'm in a different place where I can express that now. And it's okay. And no one cares because other people are weirder than me here. So it's all good.
Good awareness, Vanessa. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Vanessa, why don't you choose who goes next?
Parissa, can you go?
Sure. One thing I noticed about my energy this week, it's hard to channel. It was hard to channel compared to last week. And even the week before that, I think I was in too many social circles. And I'm thinking about it in real time because I just saw this prompt like a moment ago. And I think that I'm somebody who can spread my energy thin. With like socialization. And for me, it's important to reel it back into my center rather than out there, where I feel like my energy is out there right now. It's not here. And to do that, to reel it back in, is really as simply put as spending time with myself. And I look forward to doing that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to carving out time for myself soon. Okay, Lorraine.
Okay. Set this up. Okay. Something I noticed about my energy this week was I just crashed on Saturday. I could not get myself to do anything. And it was great. It was great to have the freedom to be able to do that. And then half of Saturday as well. And I still did my goals. And that's another thing that's, been coming to awareness for me. Like I made like my creativity, like went into a couple of posts, and I created a lot of like other partial unfinished writings. And yeah, it was fun to, come off of like deep rest, and just like surrendering, and then to like tap in and just like channel a bunch of like cool stuff. And it's really enlivening. And it's extra enlivening that a lot of people are sharing with me, either in the comments or through private message, that the things that I'm sharing are resonating and that it's helping them to put things in perspective in another way. I'll add that I feel like the times I've shared, I've only shared like more positive things. And over the weekend, when I was doing my interconnection stuff, I was like, oh, I'll share this, like to show that like I'm not perfect either, that I still have shit come up too, that I still have challenges. And then I'm just not remembering. It's like not here now. So yeah, just wanted to share that as well. All right, Kristen.
Well, I'll share that that's very relatable, what you just said. And I often, find myself in a moment of, I don't know, activation or some kind of sort of frenetic energy, and work my way through it a little bit, or take a couple steps back and look at it and feel like I have this big revelation and want to talk to someone to get further revelation, and then that's not possible, or something else is going on that's keeping me from doing that. And then I think, oh, I want to bring this to the group or one of my other circles. And then once that sort of moment passes, sometimes it's just, I guess it's past, right? So, but but there's this feeling that there's always like some residue left behind. It's just not, top of mind. But I'll say that my energy has been, again, pretty sort of activated and kind of rooted in some anger. And because I'm drinking all this water and I have to pee all the time, I was peeing right before getting on this call, and it occurred to me that I had this, again, sort of, it felt a little like a revelation that one of the reasons why I've been inconsistent or hesitant to commit to other people is my deep fear and lack of practice with committing to myself. So that, this is a challenge, right? So some of what's being reflected back to me is that I'm so busy with all of these commitments I've made to myself, and I'm getting a little bit about like, what about me? You're neglecting me from other people. And I gotta say, that brings up a lot of anger because it's, maybe in the past I thought I was imagining that. And now I'm like, oh, no, it's true. People don't want me to commit to myself. It's inconvenient for them and not kind of the way I've shown up in the past. So maybe that makes my anger a little bit more understandable to me. That,
Yeah. Kirsten, it makes perfect sense to me that you'd be angry when you're feeling this pull and this draw to do this thing for you, and it seems like other people aren't being supportive of that.
I think there's a veneer of support, and that's the thing that is also bringing up a lot of anger for me, that I'm like, can't you just see that it's not really supportive? It's just on the surface, right? And all it takes is a little scratch to see that, you liked it better when I was at your service. Right? Like,
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that post today.
Read
the post. I think you.
Yeah.
Did it bring up anything for you?
Yeah, brought up a lot. I know I hearted it. So,
Connected.
Yeah. Yeah. So it definitely, was timely for me. And it's something that I've been encountering, from time to time over the past like 18 months, this notion of like, why am I considered unkind all of a sudden when I'm just speaking up for myself or standing up for myself, like, because I hadn't done it before. So, there's a lot of pushback. And I'm well aware of the part I played in that, right? Like I created that dynamic. But it's still, it's hard to swallow.
Would it be okay if I asked you like some more questions around that? Would you like to explore it more?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I say that. We'll see how it goes. How much I like it during the process, but
so when it feels like you just have this veneer of support rather than real support, how does that feel?
It feels, well, it doesn't feel good. It feels like on some degree of like deceit.
Oh. So deceit.
Like, yeah. So like they're wearing a mask or wearing a costume to make me believe that there's support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this deceit. Where do you feel this in your body?
Oh, it's like it's like hands around my throat
Mm-hmm.
and a blindfold on my eyes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So there's that hands there around your throat, blindfold on your eyes.
Mhm.
You tune into that.
Mhm.
Mm, what's the sensation? Describe that sensation.
I'm being choked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being smothered
Mm-hmm.
or snuffed out or something, like I'm being choked.
Choked, smothered, snuffed out.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. When's your first memory of feeling choked, smothered, snuffed out? The deceit.
Very young,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3.
2, 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that little 2, 3-year-old that felt that she was being snuffed out, choked.
Mhm.
How did she feel? Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that. Tell me more.
What?
Tell me more about that sad feeling.
Right. This one's a little complicated. There's panic, however, knowing that she would be okay, that I could get through this. So there's that, but it's still panic, right?
So you're saying as a 2, 3-year-old, she knew she could get through it?
Mhm.
How did she know? How was she at that young of an age able to know that she would get through it?
Um, I registered the fear in their eyes.
Mm-hmm. And what about the fear in their eyes caused that toddler to be able to know that she could get through it?
I don't know that I have words for it. It's just um, just a knowing that a knowing of my resolve or my strength
Mm.
of my being.
So as a toddler,
Mhm.
what was it like for you to have to be so strong? Or else you'd get snuffed out.
It was lonely.
Yeah. Yeah. Lonely and sad. Mhm. And what is it that you needed that you didn't get?
I need someone to help me. I
Mhm.
needed someone that I could lean on or rely on.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you were just a baby, having to be so strong. But you needed someone to take that away from you so that you didn't have to be the strong one. You needed someone to rely on. If you had someone to rely on, what would that have been like for you?
I can't even imagine it. I have no
I can see
fucking
it in
idea what that would be like.
I can see it in your face, though.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have an experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it would be like. I can only imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So you needed someone to rely on. What else did you need?
Voice. I mean, some of this happened before I had enough words. Obviously, I didn't really know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And being told to be quiet.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Yep. And no wonder. Feels like you're being choked out. Yeah. Who was the one doing the choking?
Can't say.
Hmm?
I can't say.
Okay. Yeah. So when you were that little girl,
Mhm.
baby, really, you needed someone to rely on. You needed to have a voice. And what it sounds to me like you're saying, you needed it to be safe to have a voice. You needed it to be safe for you to have a voice. What comes up for you hearing that?
Um, it never has felt safe for me to have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you needed safety.
Um, and when I got a little older, with sort of parallel experiences, I asked for help and I wasn't believed. Um,
So not being believed
so
is a part of that.
yeah,
Snuffing out that veneer of support.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry if I'm jumping ahead, and maybe it's on purpose. I'm trying to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So,
but yeah.
so when you were that little girl, I won't
Mhm.
keep you here too much longer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you needed someone to rely on.
Mhm.
You needed to have a voice for it to be safe for you to have a voice.
Yeah.
What does it represent for you to have someone to rely on?
It represents safety.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. What else does it represent?
Mm. Love and nurture,
Mm.
caring.
There we go. There we go. Love, nurture, and caring.
That I matter.
There we go. You matter. And because you didn't have that love, that nurturing, that caring, that sense that you matter enough to have someone there that you can rely on to keep you safe, for you to have your voice, that authentic expression, because you didn't have those needs met, what were the qualities and characteristics of yourself that you suppressed?
Just about everything, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's start with one. What's a quality or characteristic of Kirsten that got suppressed, pushed down, hidden, smothered, snuffed out?
um, I was joyous. I was creative. I was funny. I was a little bit of a not really troublemaker, but like just I like to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Fun, maybe a little mischievous.
Yes, that's a better word for it. I was going to say imp, but not troublemaker, but a little mischievous. And yeah.
So isn't it interesting that the joy, creativity, fun, your humor, and even your mischievousness were suppressed? And which of your goals have you had the most challenge around?
So I've had the most challenge around sort of my creative expression and
Yep. Yep.
my journaling and that kind of thing.
Yep. Yep. Because it was snuffed out.
Mm.
It wasn't safe.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't safe for you to express.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't the message given to you or to yourself that you mattered enough. So you got to just take care of the survival needs, the base needs. There's no time or space or energy to be creative, to play and be joyful and be in the moment and have fun and laugh, right?
Yeah. And I mean, furthermore, again, being the youngest of 8,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't a lot of room for that anyway, because, it was like, just don't cause any waves. Don't, mom's so busy with so many kids, and be good. Don't rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even outside of what we're speaking about.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, very real sort of pressure to conform and,
Can I make an observation?
yes.
Um, from what you've been saying,
Mm-hmm.
sounds like there wasn't or that it didn't feel like there was room for you, that there was space for you.
No, there was not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when you bring all those feelings and observations into the now and the situations that are happening now.
Mhm.
Remember, I told you you'd get squeezed and Kristen juice would come out.
Right.
The universe is conspiring.
Mm.
Your relationships are conspiring to support you in seeing this about yourself.
Yeah.
What comes up for you hearing that?
I don't know. Um, the only thing that's coming to mind is I just wanted it to be easier this time.
Of course. I know, right?
Like, um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
When you're able to have that creativity,
mhm,
like fully give yourself space,
mhm,
give yourself the space
mhm,
to be creative and joyful and playful and funny and mischievous. And when you give yourself the safety,
mhm,
the room for your voice, when you can rely on yourself, when you know that you matter and you give yourself the love, the care, the nurturing that you deserve, how will you feel?
relaxed, content, free.
Mm-hmm. What are the qualities and characteristics of someone that's free?
They're loose, they're flowing, they're assured.
Mm-hmm.
They're open.
Yeah. So when you're loose, flowing, assured, open, you're free, content, relaxed, then what will you have?
Joy.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Peace.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So when you have that joy, the peace, the contentment, that relaxation, the looseness, the flowing, the openness, the assuredness, the safety, the nurturing, the love, you're able to rely on yourself. You're using your voice. You're creative. You're funny. You're playful. You're mischievous. You're joyful. When you have all those things and you are those things, how will you go about doing things differently in your life? What will be different?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that, you know, I wouldn't be, I would be speaking my truth, basically. So I wouldn't be, and I wouldn't be necessarily over explaining or trying to justify,
Mm-hmm. And if you're
you know,
not,
stating my nose confidently without elaborating
yeah,
and, you know, without the, I guess, the shame or guilt that I feel
yeah.
not doing what everyone else wants me to do.
And we don't have the shame. What do you have? When you don't have the shame or guilt, what do you have instead?
feels like freedom to me. I don't.
More freedom. And when you're not over explaining or justifying, what are you doing instead?
Keeping my energy for more important things. I don't know.
Yeah. So what are those more important things?
I'm creating. I'm,
You're creating.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing. I'm letting it flow.
So what's so important? What's so important about creating, writing, letting it flow? What's so important about that?
It's a value of mine. Creative expression is incredibly important. And
Why is it important?
well, I guess when it all comes down to it, I think that's why we're all here, right? We all have something to share or express. And
So you have something to share.
mhm.
Yeah. How important is it for you to share what you're here to share?
It's vital. I mean, keeping it in me is making me,
Snuffing it out.
yeah, it's also making me sick. I mean,
Yeah. So you need to get it out. You need to express. You need to
yeah.
share. And when you're sharing, expressing, getting it out in the flow, what'll be different?
I'll be able to poop, first of all.
There you go. You won't be constipated.
No surprise that that's a huge issue for me. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I'll just be natural and being, right? Like,
Natural being. All right. So when you're natural, you're being, you're able to get it all out, express, create, and share what's inside of you. What'll be different with these relationships that you're talking about?
well, some may fall away
Mm-hmm.
and some may be, well, hopefully strengthened and more authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel about everything now?
Well, at this moment, I just felt like I could actually fully exhale.
Ooh, let it all out.
Yeah.
You got to let it out, Captain.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate until recently that I was never fully exhaling.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously, I think I've mentioned last time that the energy that is so apparent to me is holding in, not necessarily holding on, but holding in.
Mm.
And
Yep.
it's probably clear after
Yep. Hold
past
it
15,
in
20 minutes
there.
that,
Right there. Mm-hmm.
right. So some of it is holding in case I need it later, but other is,
So how do you feel
holding.
about the possibility that relationships that are important to you might end?
It makes me sad, obviously. But what is becoming more, a source of despair and sadness is continuing on this way. Like, So, you know,
Mhm.
putting myself in the secondary position or the third or the fourth or the end of the line or what have you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
What's happening with your throat and the eyes now?
yeah, so just even letting myself think about that, I start tensing up.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, it's giving me some anxiety.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. So later on, we're going to do a process, and I want you to come back to that. It might have shifted after we do this next piece, right?
Yeah.
But you'll want to come back to this feeling
Mhm.
that you're feeling there, and when we come back to this releasing process that we're going to do later.
Okay.
Awesome. Great. All right. Everyone have pen and paper. Yeah. Good. Okay. All right. So I want you to think about one of your goals that has been like the most challenging for you. I'm assuming everyone has one. I know Kristen does. What about you, Parissa and Vanessa? What goal or goals are the most challenging to you?
I have the hardest time, I think, with personal development.
Mm-hmm.
That has been definitely the most difficult thing for me to prioritize and do.
And what specifically in or about the personal development?
I feel like it's the discomfort of one thing. Part of it was doing job applications and things like that, which I have been doing. But even though what I'm doing right now, driving full time is not ideal, it lends itself to a lot of situations that I am having a hard time giving up, like freedom of my schedule. I'm not feeling well, I can go home. If I'm feeling great, I can keep going. If I want to have lunch with a friend, I delay my start time. That's not something that you just get. Most jobs will not allow you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been, and also just, I had trauma in my last couple of jobs where the work-life balance was not a priority. It was work and figure out your right life later, And I'm just at a place in my life where, at one time I had that ambition. I was like all about the work and, doing what I needed to for that. But I'm just not there anymore. Like I want to not, work so I can live, not live to work. It's a completely different situation. So there's a lot of fear in giving that up.
Yeah.
Even though what I'm doing right now, stressing over money or guilting myself for not having a real job, that's not really living either. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
So there's
there's a middle there somewhere.
fear around what I'm hearing you saying, fear around losing the freedom that you have, and also fear of getting in a place where you feel traumatized, stuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you feel into the fear, what do you notice?
It's definitely a very anxious feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all this kind of comes up, you know.
Here in your chest or your throat, or
Yeah, chest and lower throat, the anxiety that just kind of grips the base of your throat, you know,
Mm.
um, that kind of thing. That's where it
So it's gripping
tends to come up.
there.
Yeah, and the other with doing my classes, I I feel like that's loosening up because I'm allowing myself to kind of step back into that world and I'm enjoying it, you know. Whereas, I mean, I just honestly, for being when I was just so sick and unwell for such a long period of time, that was the last thing on my mind was, you know, having fun and teaching other people how to have fun and, you know, communicating when all I wanted to do was just crawl into a hole. And so that wasn't exciting, but that's starting to loosen up. I'm feeling like that's something that I'm more excited to do. I'm imagining myself in a space where I'm presenting and teaching, and I am really excited about it. So that's not so much the big issue.
Okay.
Definitely the job part.
So that fear has moved into excitement when it comes to putting on classes again, teaching again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That there's the job thing where so tell me this. What would be what's important about changing what you do for work right now?
On one level, it's killing my body. You know, my shoulder is destroying my circulation in my legs and my hips and my joints are just not doing well with sitting in a car and being in that position and driving. That's a big part of it. The financial instability, you know, there's no guarantee every day when I leave as to what I'm going to come home with. And that's not great. Because for a long time it's not been good. Like it's slowed down significantly, and I have not made enough money at all. And just, I mean, the inconsistency of time. Even though I have the freedom to jump my schedule around, I also don't have a set bedtime. I don't have a set number of hours I can sleep. I have a very difficult time guaranteeing my partner when we will be able to do things or work on things that is important to us, which, you know, is also on my creativity schedule, things I want to do for that. So it's just inconvenient.
How is time inconsistency a problem?
A lot of ways, like if someone, you know, asks me, so what time of the day or what day is good for you? I seriously struggle with that because I don't know. I don't know what day, you know, what's going to happen the day before or the day of to be able to give them that answer.
How is that a problem?
I may not be available, or I will have to force myself to be available, which means I would have to sleep less in order to accommodate it.
So not having consistency means that it can interfere with your sleep.
Yeah.
And also interfere with you being able to make social plans.
Or business plans.
Or
business,
business
plans.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you say, on one hand, you have the freedom to meet up with someone whenever you feel like it. And then on the other hand, saying it gets in the way of you being able to meet up with someone.
Yeah.
Can I share what's coming up for me around this with you?
Please. Yeah.
Like what I'm sensing and feeling is like in between these two things, there's just like all of this knotted up like stuff around it. And oh, I lost a piece of that, but yeah, I kind of lost what I was gonna say when I asked you, but yeah, like
all the time.
Like I'm like, for me, it feels like there's a whole bunch of like knots, confusion, unstableness inside of yourself by not having the consistent schedule in your life.
Yeah.
And the not knowing, it's like, that going out and about, playing, doing your classes, being with people is beneficial for you. And it feels like there's blocks getting in the way of you being able to do that. Yeah. And logically, rationally, I'm thinking, well, you could just set up a consistent schedule for yourself and stick with it. But I have a feeling you would say you have to like be looking at the app and see when it's a good time to go out and stuff like that. Am I right?
Kind of. What I have found over time is working at night where there's less traffic is more beneficial to me emotionally, mentally, and also financially. There's just too many drivers out during the day, and I just don't drive enough, I don't make enough. So I'm sitting in traffic instead of moving.
So what's stopping you from creating consistency with your schedule?
Honestly, because of the things that come up. Like if I make a doctor's appointment and
are the doctor's appointments?
I can't.
Oh, because of sleep.
Yeah, if I can't get a doctor's appointment between 8 and 10 in the morning and it has to be at 3, I have to either rush through sleep or leave early or things like that. If I rush through sleep, sometimes I can't take a nap and I will sleep for a solid 8 hours and not wake up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I've slept through most of the shift I would have driven.
Okay.
So it just gets very muddled in order to accommodate necessity.
Okay. All right. So I remembered where I was going earlier, but I don't know that I have the same insight. There's something about that feeling in there, that all jumbled up feeling, the knots, the pulling in multiple directions, the instability, the swirling. There's something about that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you feel into that energy, what comes up for you?
Something that's kind of been in my head the whole time we've been talking about this is that some of it is intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this earlier, actually. The intentional things that we can do for excuses, at least that I know I do.
What's intentional?
If I, if I have a headache or I'm not feeling well, I can get up and take some ibuprofen. But I don't. So the headache lingers and persists or possibly gets worse. And that can be an excuse to not do something. because I have a headache. Keeping and staying within this job and doing this thing can be the excuse to not have to socialize, or to put in the work to do the other things, or put myself out there to possibly be re-traumatized by another job where I don't have any control. It's definitely.
So what do you get out of it? How do you benefit from staying in that intentional, knotted up, jumbled, inconsistent place? What do you get out of that? Short answer.
I mean, validated. See, I told you I couldn't do it because of this, and they're valid, but I'm also definitely feeding into it and buying into it and allowing it.
Yeah. And what is being validated and feeding into it? What is that doing? What is that costing you?
My health, my personal identity, and exploring that. Parts of my relationships. Those are probably the biggest, most impactful things. Finances, definitely.
Okay. So of those four, finances, relationship, personal identity, and health, which is the most important to you? What's the first thing? What's the first thing that comes to you? What's the most important?
Health and finances are the two major things.
Okay, health and finances. And between those two, which one's the most important?
Really health, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I feel like the finances tie it into the health. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to focus on health then for this next process we're going to do, okay?
Okay.
Because ultimately, that personal development, everything we talked about with the job, it all led down to health. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Parissa, what about you? What is the goal that you've been most challenged by?
Nourishment and hydration.
All right. So what specifically is challenging about that?
Putting in the effort to make food or going to the grocery store.
Okay. And what's so challenging about putting in effort or making food or going to the grocery store?
Well, I live with my sister and her husband, and my sister is very environmentally conscious, and she's vegan, and she's also very like OCD about how things operate in the house. And then of course I know that these are also excuses that I'm making, but the hesitation is, well, I don't like drinking her refrigerator water, which is better for the environment than bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather drink bottled water, but because we have refrigerator water, I should be drinking that, but I don't like it. So then I just don't drink any water. That's the hydration piece. And then the food, I almost feel like if I used the kitchen, I would be asserting some sort of power in this house, and I don't want to. I just kind of want to lay low. So,
How is it a problem if you assert power?
because I don't want to make her feel bad about herself. Or that I'm taking advantage of this place or of them.
So cooking in the kitchen equals you taking an advantage or making your sister feel bad?
Yeah, well, because she loves to cook and she loves when we have her food.
Got it.
Yeah. And she's also very particular about the space and what to use and what not to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't, I would rather, it saves me a headache, but I'm getting improper nutrition as a result.
So you it sounds like your sister cooks and she cooks enough for you, is that right?
Yes, I don't really love her cooking though.
You don't like her cooking. Got it. And what stops you from getting like eating out, getting food elsewhere?
Nothing. I do order in. I do takeout and then I bring things home from out there.
Got it.
So I ate pizza today and Taco Bell.
Got it. You did pizza and Taco Bell, which do not get you towards your goals. So you are ordering out. What's getting in the way of you ordering the foods that will help you to reach your food goals?
I feel dumb because they're expensive and I could cut back on cost if I just went to the grocery store and made myself a salad or something.
So you're caught. So you're caught in this cycle. Oh, well, I could just go to the grocery store. And so instead, I'm going to buy shit food. How much did the Taco Bell cost you?
$17.
$17. So is that cheap?
For takeout, yes.
Mm-hmm. If you, what's a takeout place that would help you get your food goals?
There's a place called First Watch.
Mm-hmm. So First Watch, you could get your food goals. How much would it take? How much would it cost to get a takeout meal from First Watch?
Maybe like $30.
$30 for a meal from First Watch. Okay.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I know you live in DC,
I live in Virginia now.
but I've been to First Watch
Mm-hmm.
in multiple states, and it's never cost more than $20.
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
So I don't know. What I do know is that Taco Bell is no longer cheap food. $17 is not cheap. And Vanessa lives in Portland where things are pretty expensive. Have you been to First Watch in Portland? Could you give perspective? Am I not seeing things right?
No, I don't think we have a First Watch here. We have a place that's very similar. And extent on what you've got, it's still probably around that $20 price point.
Yeah.
25, I guess, if you get like a juice or something in addition to. But Taco Bell is not cheap food.
Mm-hmm.
Like one taco is freaking $3 because I unfortunately know a little bit more than I should about Taco Bell.
So as we're asking questions, we start to like break things down and use our logical mind to be like, oh, wait a second. Like for some reason, like I put this and this together and it just doesn't pan out.
Mm.
How much did the pizza cost?
That was free. I took it from
Free. Well, great. That was free. Yeah.
from a work event. Yeah.
So, but if we're looking at Taco Bell and First Watch, they're probably going to be about the same price. First Watch might be a little bit more, but not enough to be an excuse to say, oh, it's money,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I can understand you wanting to save money and get your own groceries. But right now, you're not feeling comfortable using the kitchen, and we could do other coaching around that. I feel like that would get way too involved, though. And so, if we're just looking at, okay, like, is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Is this really true? That second question, no.
Mm.
So then, okay, then why am I getting Taco Bell instead of First Watch?
Mm-hmm.
Or instead of any of these other, restaurants where I could get takeout food for about the same price as Taco Bell. Right? There's something in there. I would love to explore this stuff with your sister more, but I don't think that's the right place to go right now. So, what's important to you about let me see your specific food goals real quick.
I remember them.
VIT at twice? I don't know what that means.
Eat at least twice a day.
Oh, eat at least twice a day.
Yeah.
Eat anything twice a day? Oh, so pizza and Taco Bell would be fine then. So that's fine.
Is it?
I don't know. You tell me. All you put for your goal was eat twice a day.
Yeah. There's some resistance to accepting that what we eat matters.
Mm.
Because, like, mom says it over and over, and I resist more and more.
What does your mom say over and over?
Eat fruits, eat vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
make yourself smoothies. You don't eat any fruits or vegetables. She says that, you don't eat fruits and vegetables.
What's the reason that you don't eat fruits and vegetables?
Well, honestly, they feel like social things to eat with somebody. Like, to me, fruits and vegetables are a social thing to have.
All right. So we've got this equivalent again. Fruits and vegetables equals social.
Yeah.
What kinds of foods does your sister cook?
Well, it's all vegan, so it's like noodles with like vegetables and maybe some tofu products or some like fake meat product. And it's always like that. Or like a curry with some vegetables and rice.
What don't you like about the cooking?
Doesn't really have much flavor. I don't think her food has much flavor. There's nothing wrong with being vegan. I'm pescatarian. Like, I don't eat meat. I just eat seafood, and
Mm-hmm.
I really love like the plant-based approach because it hits on so many of my values. But
So her It's interesting that you said it doesn't have flavor, because those are typically the foods that the meals that you named typically have a lot of flavor in it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what if you just added, if you ate her food but added spices, added some hot sauce, added some salt, added some more curry powder? What kind of
Yeah,
flavor are you thinking about doing that?
I do. I put like more soy sauce, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And I do eat her cooking. I just don't enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. You know, I don't really know that I've been here 3 weeks exactly, like on the dot. And I don't think I've enjoyed a meal. Um, because 3 weeks ago I broke up with my boyfriend. And so it's still fresh. So I don't have like the taste buds either right now. That's how I feel anyway.
What's important?
Um,
What's important to you about eating twice a day?
taking care of my body,
Mm-hmm. What's important to you about taking care of your body?
preserving it so I don't run into health challenges.
Mm-hmm. What does that do for you, preserving it?
It causes me to avoid stress or like emotional distress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So by eating, it helps you to avoid emotional distress. And when you're able to avoid emotional distress, what do you have instead then?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. So what's important to you about peace of mind?
The ability to manage like life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, eating food and being healthy gives you peace of mind and the ability to manage life. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. All right. Great. So stay with that. Okay. Vanessa, you've got the health, you've got the peace of mind, ability to manage life. So see how we're like getting deeper down on these values? And then we're going to have another step after this. And then Kristen, let's go back to where we left off with you. Um, what is so important to you about being creative? We talked about that a little. I just want to pick up back up on that thread.
Um, well, I think what's important about being creative to me is that it's expressing my voice or my point of view, or um, yeah, using my voice.
Using your voice.
Mm.
What's so important about using your voice?
Um, so I'm taking up space. So I'm putting myself in the room.
Putting yourself in the room.
Mm.
And what's so important about that?
So I can feel that I belong.
For what purpose?
To be seen, to be heard, to
Yeah.
matter.
Mm-hmm. For what purpose?
Or freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so we already did a lot of really great stuff for you around this, and we're coming back to that freedom, right?
Mhm.
And also belonging came up.
Mhm.
So between freedom and belonging, what's the most important to you? Like first thing,
Freedom.
freedom.
Mhm.
So, so you'll go with freedom, and and if belonging kind of seeps in, I want you to allow that as well. Okay. All right. So you've all got your starting places. So what I want you to do, I want you to write that down if you haven't already. And then I want you to ask yourself a question and just write down. We already started what's important to me about that, but I want you to come up with a list. I want you to write words. It could be like a phrase, but just come up and just keep writing a list of why is health important to me? Why is freedom important to me? Why is oh, I have too many pages. Why is peace of mind and managing life important to me? And just write a list. And if you get done writing the list, ask yourself again, what else is important to me about that? And what else is important to me about that? What else is important to me about that? And you want to have at least 10. Do you all have about 10? Are you still working on it? No? Yes? Yeah, everyone does? All right. So I want you to look at that list, and first off, I want you to cross out any that are duplicates, or like any words that are different but have the same meaning. And then if there are any that are negatives, um, so health is important so I don't get sick and die, as an example, right? That look on your face, Vanessa, I feel like You're like, yep, I had negatives. Answer the question, okay, what do I have instead? Make it positive. Make it about yourself and make it positive.
So that's only if we had something negative.
Yeah. If you have something negative. Was there one that you have a question around?
No, I didn't write anything negative.
Yeah. And then if it's about other people, so I can do this for other people or so that other people rewrite it so that it's about yourself. What do you get out of that? What's important about that to you, for you? All right, we good there? All right, so
I'm not, I don't think.
okay. All right.
I'm literally rewriting all negatives because me.
Important.
What was the instruction about?
Is Vanessa cutting out to anyone else or is it just me?
Cutting out. Yep.
Oh, is it you better now?
No.
Are you
No?
using your phone?
It's probably the
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
say something again.
No? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think so. So the second
Okay.
one, so the
Same
second
here.
maybe not, I don't know. But the second one is if it's about other people, make it about yourself.
Oh,
So if it's so that I don't make my sister uncomfortable, make it about yourself. What's important to it about me is calm, solidness, abundance. If it's a full long sentence, shorten it down to a word or just like a phrase. Peace, love, abundance, strength. And let me know when you're good with that, Vanessa.
okay.
All right, so take your piece of paper and turn it over so you can't see it. You can't see any of the words. So when I tell you to do so, this is what you're going to do. When I tell you to turn your paper over, you're going to quickly number from 1 to 10 or however many you have. 1 being the most important, 10 being least important. And I don't want you to and ha over it. I want you to, first thing that comes to your mind, peace, gratitude, love, belonging, wealth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Is that clear? All right. So don't think about it. Just let it come. Don't second guess. Don't overthink it. Just number it. All right. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. All right. So 1, 2, 3, flip it over. All right. So I want you to take your top 4 goals and just write those top 4 goals in order. All right. And so for each of those goals, I just want you to, again, this is going to be very quick. You're going to ask yourself and you're going to come up with a percentage. And let me explain just a little bit. I don't want to go too far into it. I don't want you to get too analytical about it. But the question is, what percentage of away from motivation do I have about this? Don't think about it yet. Let me explain away from and towards motivation. So away from motivation is, I don't want to feel stuck. I don't want to get sick and die. I don't want to hurt someone's feelings or piss people off. I don't want to put in a bunch of effort. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be broke. That's away from motivation. And away from motivation can motivate us. It's not bad, but it's not as good as toward motivation. Toward motivation is when we have the what's the word for it? Like inherent drive. I know y'all have been in personal growth field. It's like when you're no one knows. Okay. So it's like this inherent drive where you're going towards a goal, towards a desire, towards a dream. This is what I want. And it's kind of the same thing as when you say something negative, that is an away from motivation. And then when I say, okay, what do you want instead? That is toward motivation. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel free. I want to feel fully open and expressed. I want to be healthy. I want to hike up a mountain. I want to travel. I want to be able to take a train ride from, across the country and not feel uncomfortable. I want to feel financially abundant. I want to succeed at what really matters to me in life. I want to, have a home and a family. Those are toward motivations. Does that make sense? So you're going to write what percentage is away from, with 100% being this is 100% and away from motivation, versus if it was 0, it would be all toward. Does that make sense? And so just look at each of those 4 things. First thing that comes to you. 1 second.
These are the top 4 from our
Just
list.
the top 4. Just
the
those
10.
top 4. Mm-hmm.
And we have to write a percentage of how we're moving away from them.
Yeah. What percentage of away from motivation do you have? Is it 80%? Is it 50%? Is it 0%?
I need to further clarify that. I'm sorry. Motivation as in the goal already working toward, or how we're already representing our life.
So when you sense inside yourself, Is your motivation to get that goal, to achieve that goal, because you're wanting to get away from something or because you're going towards something? So is health or whatever the sub things, the sub values there, is it because you don't want to die, you don't want to let people down, you don't want to be a burden? That's away from. Or is it because I want to be healthy, I want to be able to hike those trails with my partner, I want to be able, you know, to have the energy to put on my workshops and play spaces. That's an example of toward. And so just again, real quick, what's the percentage of away from? All right, so now those top two values, for both of those values, I want you to now write what's important to me about this. What's important to me about this? So you're going to take each one individually, just the top two. So those top two values, you're going to say, what's important about that? What's important to me about that? What's important to me about that? So come up with a few things for each one. You got something for both?
Almost.
Okay. All right. So as you look at all of those values, all those things that are important to you,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to ask yourself, how much do you actually live by these values? So when you think about, if you were to think percentages of where your energy, time, attention goes, how much do you actually live by these values?
Today or throughout our lifespan, like throughout all of our years?
In the recent today, you know, whatever feels like the era you're in now, that could be the last, like for me, I'd be looking at the last few months because I've had a big shift, you know, in the last few months. But I could also compare like the past year, just like, yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're going to do a process around this. So you can just put your pen, paper aside, whatever, and get comfortable and close your eyes. So earlier when we were talking, we found little resistances or knots with each of you, right? In the challenge, that like, ooh, in the throat or the upper chest or the pit of the stomach, that thing coming up around these values. We just explored, this is why this goal is important to me, right? And so I want you to tune in to that resistance, that knot, that whatever thing that's there energetically. See it, feel it, notice what comes up. Any thoughts, feelings, memories, anything that's associated with it that's arising. And maybe that physical sensation that was there shifts, moves. What I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to tune into your inner compass, your North Star, your yes, your no, and I want you to honor your yes or your no as you're doing this. So the question is, am I willing to welcome more of this feeling and sensation? Could I welcome more of this feeling, the sensation within me? And if it's a no, I want you to honor that no. If it's a yes, just a little bit. If it's a no, you can ask just a little bit, just a little bit. Can I welcome it? Can I permission this to be here? Just a little bit more. And notice if your body makes more room for it. Can I permission this just a little bit more? And a little bit more. Each time noticing what happens, what comes up. And keep seeing if you can feel this more, welcome it more, permission it even more until you start to reach capacity. Or maybe by the feeling and the noticing you're doing, it's already starting to shift maybe a little bit. All of your previous learnings and trainings up until now to support you in this process of noticing and being with. There you go. There you go. And now, as you ask inside, actually, before we do that, I want you to stay with the sensation, the emotion, the energy within you, and let the thoughts go. Can I let go of the thoughts surrounding this? All of the stories and dialogue around this, all of my beliefs, what I think is right or wrong or good or bad, or how justified I feel, how shameful I feel, all of those thoughts. I let go of those thoughts and stay with the energy in my body. And just notice what happens as you let the thoughts go and stay present to the energy. Does it expand or grow? Does it start to lift? Does it become heavier or lighter? Do you see any colors or images? Do you get any ahas or downloads? Does it start to shift and move in any way? There you go. And now ask yourself, can I let just a little bit of this go? Maybe you've already started letting it go. But ask inside and honor your yes and your no. Honor what your body does. You might find if it's a no, that just by honoring your body's no, that it lets it go anyway, because you're honoring it. You're listening to it. Can I let just a little bit of this go? Could I? And if it's yes, let's let some softening happen around that. And even more softening. Can I let go a little bit more? Just a little bit. There you go. And could I let go even a little bit more? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. Notice what you feel now. Notice what your experience is now. What are you feeling now? Have you gotten to a neutral place or a calm or clear place? Or are you still feeling what was there? What's happening now? So wherever you're at, whatever you're experiencing, I want you to find a resource inside of you now. Tune into a place inside that feels good. And good could mean neutral. Maybe there's clarity. Maybe there's peace. Maybe there's love, gratitude, compassion, freedom. So notice what you feel. The most high vibration resource that's available to you right now inside of yourself. And then ask inside, can I permission this more? Could I welcome in more of this? And I soften to create more space for this to sprout and blossom and grow. There you go. That's it. That's right. And just a little bit more. Yeah. Can I permission myself to feel even more of this beautiful experience that's happening inside of me? Notice if there's any resistances that maybe come up to that without judgment. And just notice. And come back to that resource. Can I welcome more of this in and experience more of this? Listening to your yes and your no. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. Allowing it to flow, expand, and blossom. Take a deep breath. Let that flow out. Oh. Another deep breath. Let that sigh, that physiological sigh. And one more. Anchoring this good feeling in. And notice how you feel now. And find some sort of way to anchor this in. You might touch a part of your body, your heart. You might touch your fingers together, your third eye. Anchor this feeling in. Yeah. And breathe into that. And then you can come back into the room. And I know we went over time again. So if you all have just a little bit, I would love to share just 1 to 3 words or phrases to either what that was like for you or what you feel now. So just like a word or like a phrase that's a word. And Parissa, would you start us off?
Loneliness. That's my one word.
Great. Would you like?
Kirsten?
Better.
Better. Great.
Vanessa?
Resistance.
Resistance. Got it.
And the rain.
For me, stillness. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you all on Thursday. If any of you want to stay and continue on, you know, if you have any questions, anything you want to work on, I'm available for another 30 minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you Thursday, and I'll probably be sending a little bit of homework out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
See you Thursday.
Yep.
Hey, baby.